Hello everybody, welcome back to TTL. My name is Kieran McGinley and this is round 15 at Malaysia. So without further ado then, let's go into the driver standings. So at the top of the table we have Darren Sinclair on 191. In second place is Blizzard on 175. Spike is in third on 169. Traw in fourth on 139. The Gort's one away from 100 on 99 and fifth. Lambo is in sixth on 96. Siege is in seventh on 83. Maze in eighth on 79. Light E in ninth on 66. And Poe is in 10th on 59. Then it's Raikkonen who's 11th on 53, Humbug in 12th on 34, Useless is in 13th on 28, Geordie is in 14th on 26, Sao Paulo in 15th on 25, Stefan 16th on 20, Crazy in 17th on 15, Weed Nation in 18th on 12 points, Z3 in 19th on 11, Shunts is in 20th on 8 points. Tied with him is Squeezy Lemon, also on 8 points. Pacers is 22nd with 7 points. Alan K 23rd on 4 points. Plaster 24th on 3 points. And Blue Nose is in 25th on 1 point. Onto the constructor standings, very tight at the top. Williams lead the way on 201. Toro Rosso in second on 195. Renault in third on 192. Mercedes in fourth on 189. Force India are fifth on 160. Sauber are sixth on 150. McLaren in seventh on 99. Haas in eighth on 90 points. Ferrari are ninth on 71. And Red Bull at the bottom on 66 points. Without further ado then, let's go into the hot lap. So here we are then on board with Alan Kay as he heads towards the start finish line here around Malaysia. As we now head towards turn one now, you've got a long time to think about your braking zone heading towards the first hairpin. In between the 150 metre boards here, get a wide line through turn one, helps you on your exit of turn two, which provides crucial as it's all acceleration up towards through turn three. Get the exit spot on there, nice and smooth on the steering through turn three as we now head towards turn four. Best chance of overtaking here through turn four as we brake in, catch the curve on the right hand side there, make sure you get a good exit. Heading into turns 5 and 6 now. You want to keep the steering as well smooth through here, drop a gear if you need to get you that grip through this section. Now heading through the double apex of turn 7 and then through turn 8. Patient on the throttle here, it's very easy to run wide onto the left hand side. Now heading down towards turn 9 here, this hairpin here, another good overtaking opportunity. Catch the curve if you can on the inside, not too much though, you'll throw the car out of balance through turn 10 and then coming up towards turn 11 now. Nice and patient on the throttle as you head out of turn 11. Now coming through turns 12 and 13 now as we go through left and right. Now coming up towards turn 14, very easy to lock up going through turn 14. Take care if you need to. On the exit now as we head through the DRS on the back straight now. And now heading towards the last hairpin of turn 15. Get the braking right here is absolutely crucial. Again, easy to lock up going through turn 15. Heading around the final corner into the DRS zone, we head towards the start finish line. That is a lap of Malaysia. Qualifying underway then for round 15 here in Malaysia. And well, we've been here since 1999, and in real life this is 2017 is the last time that Malaysia will host a Grand Prix at Sepang at this circuit, and it is such a shame to see such a great track with a lot of history behind it sadly fade away into the distance. So this could be the last time we see it in an F1 game. So let's make the most of it, shall we, as we have drivers leaving the pit lane now. As you can see then, 3 drivers going for the soft tyres as we look to see who is the first out of the pit lane. We'll find out shortly, just see who's on the outlap. That is Blizzard who is on the outlap, and it's very hard to see where the cursor is against a white background like that. There we go, we found him though. Blizzard then, the first person out on track in the number 4 car of the Williams. So Malaysia then. Ferrari have won the most times here, 7 times they've won, and it's quite amazing really. They won the first ever time the Malaysian Grand Prix came to Sepang in 1999. Won it back to back in 2000, 2001. Of course, you had the Red Bull dominant years. They didn't win the 2012 race, but they won pretty much every race in between there. a most successful driver? Well, that would be Sebastian Vettel, who's won here 4 times at the Sepang track. So it's fair to say that's one of his favourites. In terms of a real-life qualifying time, 1:30.0, set by Lewis Hamilton. That was the time. I should be more specific then. 1:30.076 was the real-life qualifying time. So we'll see today what the drivers can do. 28 laps around this track for the race, and no shortage of drama, as the weather always likes to get involved here at Sepang. We're on board with Blizzard then as he heads towards the start-finish line, going up through the gears now, across the start-finish line now, and this is when his lap starts. Heading towards turn 1 now. Always a dramatic circuit, Sepang, and always throws up that little chance of monsoon, as previous seasons has found out. For now though, Blizzard is heading around turn 3 up towards turn 4 now, and we'll see now. Blizzard wanted to get his championship back underway. Darren Sinclair not finishing the last race means that it opens up for Blizzard and Spike. So Blizzard here should be the first one to set a lap time here. We now head through this double right-hander here, and it's very difficult to get that section absolutely spot on. Of course, Malaysia used to be at the front end of the calendar, as yellow flags in sector 2 there. It did used to be at the front end of the calendar, moved pretty recently towards the back end of the calendar to try and avoid the monsoon conditions that were affecting the Grand Prix so badly. Now is round 15, used to be around about round 4, I think it used to be on a calendar. But as Blizzard now heads down the back straight through this DRS zone now, and coming towards the final hairpin, around it, and what sort of lap time can then he heads towards the start finish line. Blizzard then championship leader, what can he do? Oh, sorry, not championship leader, but 1:31.6 is the lap time from Blizzard there. That's the back benchmark, as we see Lambo there on the soft tire, 1:32.6. Blaster 1:33.9. We've got Squeezy there 1:32.8. We've got a Renault there going very sideways, coming out of the final corner. That was Spike. It's a 1:32.0 from Spike there. We see Raikkonen heading towards the line then, and his lap time is a 1:32.7. There's a McLaren in the background. I'm not entirely sure who it was. It was Kiki, and he's a reserve driver today. I believe it is his debut here at Malaysia. He is a reserve driver, but today he's driving for McLaren. Darren Sinclair then on the soft tyres decides that lap's not good enough, and he'll pit in. His teammate, on the other hand, thinks this is a good lap, heading towards the line now. And what sort of lap time can he set? 1:34.1, and that puts him into P9. That's a Mercedes in the background. Is that the Gort? It is, and he's on and starting a flying lap now. That's Chor in the background. He's heading towards the line now. A 1:34.9, but the lap doesn't count, so he'll have to go around again. So at the top then, Blizzard 1:31.6. As he'll head towards the pit lane now, getting ready for the second stint. Lambo there set a 1:32.6 on some soft tyres, so a really good lap from him. We'll see if he can keep it in the top 10. I wonder if Chor is still pushing on to try and set a lap time, at least a clean one, so that he can get himself on the board and set that banker lap. Heading through that left-right almost reminds you of Shanghai. It's a similar section. Of course, it was there first. That sweep there through in to Sepang circuit, because, of course, we started racing here in 1999, just on the turn of the millennium. Yellow flags in sector 3, and that is Kiki, who is around. And he's into the gravel. That is just coming into the penultimate corner, so he must have lost it just on the exit there. Steph set a 1:33.0, puts himself in 8th place. Geordie there as he gets wheeled back into the pit lane. Set a 1:32.2 to put himself into P3. Oh, look at who decided to make the cursor white to decide where the on the left hand side of the timing screen there's normally a little white segment that tells you which driver you can pick, but it's not there right now because of course it's blended into the background. Anyway, enough about my excuses as to why I can't control the camera. Draw there, 1:32.1, puts himself up into P3. He'll make his way back to the pits, ready for the second round. After the first round of laps then, we have Plaster, who's trying to make his way back in low fuel mode, trying to run as light as possible with the car. So Blizzard then, 1:31.6, Spike 1:32.0, and we can have a look at the sort of gaps between the leader. You can see there 3/10 separate Spike and Blizzard. Of course, Darren Sinclair's yet to set a competitive lap time. Troy is in third there, Geordie fourth, Lambo fifth, Raikkonen in sixth, Squeezy in seventh, Gore is in eighth, Steph in ninth, Plaster 10th, and Alan Kay is in 11th place. Everybody else is yet to set a lap time. So Light E then is on an outlap right now, as we'll see the sun setting here in Malaysia. We'll see what Light E can do. Always a favoured track by Ferrari, but we'll see what happens in the game. Who knows? Light E could be taking a win today. You never know. Darren Sinclair then on an outlap, and he'll be looking to try and keep his lead today. It got cut down by some margin in the last race, so he'll be hoping then to well, recover his form and get back on track. No pun intended, obviously. But drivers go through a sticky patch of form, and they normally do come out the other side. It's all about keeping your head in the right moments. Meanwhile, though, Light E rounding that final hairpin, heading towards the line. This is going to be the start of his flying lap. As we'll see then, he's probably only going to get one run, so he's got to make this count. Hazel's also on a flying lap now, as we see Raikkonen rounding that final corner. So I'm just trying to see what order we need to go in. I won't remember the order, obviously, but it's nice to know. It is nice to know if I can actually keep a track of it. Squeezy there in the driving for Force India today. He's been here, there and everywhere with teams, but today he's driving for Force India. Of course, he is a reserve driver, so he can do that. Who knows though, he's had good form recently, scoring points, so maybe he could be in talks with the team to make a permanent addition to the TTL roster. Z3 still out there then on his outlap, and I believe that is that could be Raikkonen behind him, and it is Raikkonen. So Z3 here, is he gonna dive out of the way of Raikkonen? I'm not entirely sure. Of course, there aren't really any blue flags in qualifying, but there we go. So Light E then coming towards the hairpin once more, and what sort of lap time can he set then as he heads towards the line, steering all as straight as possible, crosses the line and goes P2, 1:31.7 from Light E. That's a great lap time from him. Paisley's there, 1:33.3. He'll cross the line there. We'll quickly jump on board with Raikkonen as he heads towards the line, and doesn't improve. He's 6/10 down, but he does get another chance. We're going to have a look and see where Darren Sinclair is, where Kiki is, where Maze is. Just sort of trying to get an idea of where we need to be looking, as that is Spike as well on a flying lap. Geordie not far behind him. Troy heading his way through, but he's lifted off. So we'll have a look at Darren Sinclair then as he rounds the final corner, heading towards the line. And he didn't quite get that lap right, so he's going to go around again. That's Straw heading towards the line, and that is a 1:32.1. I believe, though, he just was on an outlap. Lambo, though, goes top. 1:31.4, my apologies. And he thinks that's enough. That's all he can do, and retires from the session. Kiki then goes up into 9th place, 1:32.4. Blizzard, however, goes into the 1:30s, a 1:30.9 there. We'll have a look at Raikkonen. Have to have a look out for as well for Darren Sinclair. He's going to be one of the last to set a lap time here, and still hasn't set a clean lap. Squeezy there retiring from the session. We'll have a see what Spike has done. He's got 3rd place, so he will be lifting off then. So we'll have to see where that will put him towards the end of the session. Mays there, I believe that was a cut the track. Yes, it was, as you see him lift off. Key as well lifting off. Vigort pushing on though. We'll have a look with Darren Sinclair as he's down the final back straight here. Hasn't set a time just yet, and we'll be hoping to change that with this lap. He's carried on with it, so it must still be a valid lap. Rounding the final corner. Sinclair's always known to grab lap times out of thin air, but not today. 1:31.3, respectable, but he can't topple Blizzard. Takes P2 from this qualifying session. Traw then can't improve and will stay in 8th place. And that's the Gort. The Gort's pushed too hard. He's into the wall there, and that is his session over. Mays then abandoning his lap time. So there is only 2 more people out there. Plaster, well, I think is the last person who's going to set a lap, as he'll come across the line, and he sets a 1:33.9. Can't improve, and he'll stay in P17. But I believe with everyone pitting or completing their lap time, taking the checkered flag, that's the end of qualifying. So we'll have the full qualifying results after this edit. So then Blizzard grabs pole position by 0.4 of a second from Darren Sinclair. Lambo in 3rd, Spike in 4th, Light E 5th, Geordie 6th, Squeezy in 7th, Traw in 8th, Raikkonen 9th, Mays in 10th, Steph in 11th, Key in 12th, Gort is in 13th, Alan K 14th, Z3 15th, Pace was 16th, and Plaster is in P17. So then the race is coming up after this edit. Well, that's certainly an interesting sight to see. 2 cars just in the middle of the pit lane there, but more importantly, it's raining, and well, all those dry setups now mean nothing. All of those supposed strategies for qualifying all mean nothing. So are we going to have a monsoon later on today? Well, Malaysia is known for that, known for flashes of rain here, there and everywhere to just catch you out. It's a real test here in Malaysia. It also can be known in this game to absolutely monsoon. The rain comes pelting down, and sometimes the wet tyres aren't even good enough to give you the grip. But we'll see what happens in this race. Here comes the formation lap. So then, let's get those clutch biting points underway then, as it's really crucial here to get yourself a good biting point as you come out of the grid here. That gives you a chance to try it before the race. Blizzard then is on pole position ahead of Darren Sinclair, and he will be hoping that he can make a difference today. Williams do lead the Constructors' Championship, so he'll be hoping to try and extend that advantage. He is in 2nd place on 175 points, so he will be trying to close that gap to this man, Darren Sinclair. Top of the table, 191, and he'll be hoping to get back on track with a win today. Lambo is in 3rd, 6th place in the championship though, has had a good form recently, very good qualifier, just needs a bit more luck in the race and he'll climb that table with ease. Spike is in 3rd place in the championship, 4th on the grid, 169, he'll be hoping today he can get some more points on the board, keep that momentum going. Traw then, the man in 4th place, not too far away from the top 3, but he'll need some good results if he wants to get back into this championship battle. And our driver review today is Alan Kay. The man from Ireland, 13 races so far this season. Okay, he's DNF'd in 6 of them and only scored 4 points, but let's take some positives. A 10th place at round 2. 9th place is his best of the season. That was at round 4, and at round 11 he managed to get 10th place for himself. So that's how he's got all 4 points in this season. At Russia then, sorry, that was his best result, with a 10th place in China and a 10th place at Hungary. Well, he did say to me that he has a temporary setup, which is why he finds himself a second a lap slower, maybe even 1.7 seconds slower in the last race, as he told me. But he's hoping to put all that behind him, as he'll want to get a new setup sooner rather than later and help him on his way. Blizzard though, well, he's definitely keeping his tyres warm, that's for sure. And well, only 3 drivers were willing to wait for him to set the pace of the formation lap. And to be honest with you, if this was the pace of the formation lap, I'd overtake Blizzard as well. But he's just making sure though that his car isn't on the grid for longer than it needs to be. But the pressure's on then. Wet starts are always a spectacle, so we will have we'll have the race after this edit. So here we go then. 5 red lights here in Malaysia. Round 15 is underway, and what are the starts like? Blizzard looks like he's got a good getaway. Darren Sinclair's got an average one. You can see the Force India there really on the charge here. I think that's Squeezy as they head towards turn 1 for the first time. That's Light E trying to take a diving move down the inside. Has he got the move stuck here as we head towards turn 2 now? I think this is the heart of Geordie here, as he's trying to get up the inside of Light E here, as we'll bring up all the telemetry back. That is Geordie, yes. So Lambo here has got past Darren Sinclair. Darren Sinclair dropping to 3rd. Oh, that's a Renault there getting very, very sticky there. Oh, very sticky. That's a very interesting analogy there. I think they got a little bit of a slide on there. But there we go. Darren Sinclair in 3rd place at the moment, fighting off Light E. Now you can see here where the dry setup might not be the favoured one. You need more downforce when it comes to the rain. But it's only the start for now, as we'll see from the start then. You can see not many changes in position, as we'll see here. That is Plaster up 3 positions. He's the biggest winner along with Plaster. The biggest loser though is Key, who's down in P16. He's lost 4 positions from the start. Blizzard though leads the way from Lambo and Darren Sinclair as they all come filtering through. Just be careful of those curbs, guys. Very easy to get it wrong. We're riding on board here with Steph, with Raikkonen, who seems to be struggling. Squeezy's got past him. Squeezy, oh, the back end got very loose there from Squeezy. And Darren Sinclair here is also struggling out here, as Spike now makes his way through past Darren Sinclair, as did Light E. And Darren Sinclair drops to 5th place. Meanwhile, battling here. Look at this battling going on. I can't really get a great camera angle for this, but Raikkonen, Steph, he's side by side with Straw as they head their way down the main straight now. And look at all this spray being kicked up, as you can just about see the cars. But you can see here, that is Steph, as he's defending from Traw. May's behind though. Looks like he'll fancy trying to get past Traw here. A little bit of a bang in there from Pazels and Plaster, but nothing doing so far. As Darren Sinclair's lost the car coming out of in between turn 3, and he's lost that front wing as well, and he'll have to limp his way back to the pits. Well, he's been struggling since the start of this race, and well, now he'll be hoping to just limp it back to the pit lane and maybe add a little bit of front wing onto his next stop. Well, May's here in 10th place, looking to try and get away from, well, guess who? The Gort. They're sharing the same bit of track once again. They're evenly matched, these two, and that's why Mercedes are high up the table. They're consistent, these guys. Alan Kay then getting past Plaster as he moves up into 13th place. Spike then on the tail of Light E, heading through this quick chicane here. as we head towards turn 14, a place where Sergio Perez ran wide, and that could happen to Light E. He's lost the back end but keeps it. He saves it, just loses a position there to Spike. Well held from Light E there. As I was just saying, that was the place where Perez ran wide, and that is Pazels. What's happened to Pazels here? He's lost the car as well coming into turn 14. Such an easy thing to do, especially in the wet. It's very easy to just get that load of oversteer, and that could be the car around. Blizzard, though, leads the way ahead of Lambo and Spike here. That's Light E in 4th, Geordie 5th, Squeezy 6th, Raikkonen 7th, Steph in 8th, Troy in 9th, and Mays in P10. That's your top 10. That's your point scorers at the moment. That is Geordie under attack from Squeezy here. Squeezy's going to try and cut back on him and try and get the better exit, try and get past Geordie as we head through turn 3 now and up towards turn 4. Will he try and move down the inside? No, he won't. He'll back out of it and leave it be for now. That's Raikkonen in 7th, putting pressure on the cars ahead. Now that's Geordie here, trying to put up some pressure now on Squeezy. On Light E. Light E runs wide. Geordie sees his chance, but he knew he was going to run too deep there. Now that's Squeezy trying to go down the inside of Geordie as they head through the double right-hander. Geordie runs wide. Squeezy gets the position. And can he hold out against Raikkonen here as they head towards turn 9? And Geordie here trying to now go down the inside of Squeezy. Coming into turn 9 now through turn 10. Light E leads that little group there as he's starting to get away from Squeezy as they're all battling here for 4th place right now. But just about keeping a hold of his position. Steph, though, saw Raikkonen take the curb. Now he fancies his move and chances down the inside. But has he got the move stuck? No, he hasn't. Couldn't quite get the traction there and has to stay in the slipstream for now. But don't rule out a move coming into turn 15 now. He'll look to the inside. He'll try the inside line now. Coming into turn 15 on the inside of Raikkonen. And has he got the move done? A little bit of oversteer on the way out. That gives Raikkonen a lifeline to try and have a go towards turn 1. Lap 4 of this Grand Prix, and we're going to see now side by side Raikkonen still on the inside of Steph. That will become the outside heading into turn 2, so Steph just has to keep his nose in there, and he does. Raikkonen will now try a cut back to get some better traction, and once again though he'll be on the outside heading through turn 3 and towards turn 4. And Spike has the move. Steph has the move. As now we'll see an attempt from Troy here, going down the inside. Couldn't quite make it. Very late decision there to try and make the move. Now it's Geordie and Squeezy now. We're riding on board with Geordie getting ahead of... Well, I have to see the camera there, but yes, getting ahead of Squeezy. Now Steph fancies his chances against Squeezy now. As we look behind us, as we're riding on board with Geordie here. Squeezy on the racing line. You can see Geordie trying to defend the inside line, and you can see here how many cars are ready to pounce. The rain has stopped, so who will be the first driver onto a set of dry tyres, I wonder? Now that's Squeezy having a look down the inside of Geordie. Geordie runs a little bit onto the curb there. Might affect his traction on the way out. It doesn't. Having a look now on board. That's Raikkonen. Oh, Raikkonen's lost the back end. Can he keep the car in check? Yes, he can. And, well, he's lost that time, but his front wing, that's the most important thing when you're coming towards something like this. He's kept the car on the track. Meanwhile, though, Troy gets ahead of Squeezy. And that'll be vital when we head into the turn 15 there. So Troy now still under pressure from Squeezy. But Troy here in 7th place. He'll move up. The Gort then riding on board with him. Plaster makes his way past Alan Kay, who, well, into the pits now. What's a call here from Alan Kay? Is this a call to go onto some slick tyres? Now, I have a bit of deja vu. Alan Kay, I seem to remember, was one of the first to come in for slick tyres in a similar situation. Is this the same? Yes, it is. Alan Kay is the first person to go onto a set of slick tyres, and it's soft tyres. So it looks like then Alan Kay will have to stop once more to go into a set of super softs, but he feels it's time. He feels the track is ready to move on to a set of dry tyres. Now we'll have to keep an eye on his pace as he goes around there. Meanwhile, back on board with this midfield battle. This is Squeezy now, trying to run very close to Troy. You can see how little grip those tyres are giving now, but spray is still coming off the car. When you get to a stage like this, the car tends to want to oversteer as you're heading out of corners because it's just getting too hot. The tyres can't find the grip anymore. They start to overheat, they start to degrade, and that's when you get less tyre grip, more oversteer. But Darren Sinclair then comes into the pits onto some super soft tyres. Of course, now that it has rained and we've had an intermediate stint, this means that any dry tyres can be used. There's no using 2 tyres rule. We can now go. That's Geordie there who's lost out, coming out of turn 14. And we'll see up ahead. Blizzard then has come into the pits. Race leader is into the pits. Lambo is also into the pits. Are we going to see a flurry of cars now enter the pit lane? I think we are. Yes, we are. Is there anybody who decides to stay out? Yes, there is. Squeezy decides to stay out, as does the Gort, who didn't want to double stack. Plaster stays out as well. So Squeezy takes the lead then. Blizzard into the pits, as Blizzard here has gone back out on a set of intermediates. Now, is that an MFD? Is that something to do with the team? Or did Blizzard press the wrong button? Either way, he's rejoined on intermediate tyres. Lambo here rejoins on soft tyres. Spike also rejoins on soft tyres. Lighty does the same. Steph rejoins on medium tyres. DRS is enabled, so this is the time now to get those dry tyres on. And I wonder here where Alan Kay is on track. Can he take advantage of any of the cars in the pits? I think he can. He'll now move up into 12th place ahead of May. So fantastic call from Alan Kay to get himself up the field there. Well, this is where Blizzard is going to struggle. He's right on the tail of Plaster. He's on the wrong tyres. And Lambo here knows it. He's now closing in on the both of them. He just has to take his time. He's the leading dry tyre runner. So he just needs to take his time. And, oh, he's onto the grass and just keeps it out of the box of Plaster there. Just about as Blizzard moves up into 3rd place. Now you can see Lambo trying to go around the outside of Plaster here. They do make contact and contact again, and Plaster goes around. And, well, he tried to take that inside line, but there's less grip. So he just understeered and oversteered probably at the same time and goes onto the grass. Probably where all that wet piece of track is on the grass now. You can see though Lambo moves ahead of Blizzard, and this is a nightmare for Blizzard now, as he's got to come in once again to put on a set of dry tyres. Now this is going to drop him down the field, but how far will it drop him down? Steph though moves ahead of Light E up into 7th place here. Blaster here also into the pits as he joins the Gort, who is pitting in on a set of medium tyres. Blizzard here onto a set of soft tyres, and he has to wait for a clear bit of track there. So Blizzard then is dropping down the field. Meanwhile, look at that for a camera angle. That's not bad, is it? As my voice completely gives up there. Light E trying to put some pressure on Steph. Oh, that's Geordie who's run too deep there. And what happened to Geordie? I think he just didn't quite turn the car in enough there, or maybe he had a wet patch of track. We've got yellow flags out in sector 3. Just trying to see who it could be. I'm not quite sure. It might have been Kiki. Yes, it was. With gravel on his tyres. Darren Sinclair though 16th, and wants to be charging his way through the field as quickly as he possibly can. But it is Lambo in the lead. Spike is in 2nd, Steph in 3rd, Light E 4th, Traw in 5th, Raikkonen 6th, Geordie 7th, as we see a battle up ahead, or further up the field. That is Steph. What's happened to Steph here? He seems to be losing ground, but I think that just might be the medium tyres that he's on, as he'll come through 12 and 13. And into 14 now. Always a difficult corner to get right. Mays closing in on his teammate, the Gort here, as Lambo sets the fastest lap of the race, 1:40.3. Alan Kay getting his way past Blizzard, although temporarily, as Blizzard finds that way back past and moves up back into 11th place. Close though, as you can see. Z3 fancies his chances here on the inside of Alan Kay coming into turn 15, and well, Z3 I think there has it, does he? Coming around, yes he does. Z3 up into 12th place now. Yellow flags in sector 3, and that's Geordie. Geordie's lost his front wing. Well, I wonder how that happened. And I think that's Geordie retiring from the session, is it? Well, he's ghosted. Yes, he has retired from the session. So what happened to Geordie, as he has retired from the session without a front wing? Mays then following the Gort, and team orders aren't usually a thing with these two guys. They're very consistent. They are they're scoring points all season long, and that's why they are so far up the constructors table. You can see here Mays looking down the inside of the Gort here, and now we'll try a switchback maybe into turn 9. No, he doesn't, so we'll stay behind him for now. Might get better traction coming out into turns 10 and then into 11 here. They just can't find that way past the Gort at the moment, as we'll head into turn 12, then through 13. As you can see here, Blizzard is on a charge here. Spike setting the fastest lap of the race, 1:36.7. The track's definitely dry now. If it wasn't before, it is now. As we now head towards turn 15. Blizzard here wants to try and get past the Mercedes as soon as he possibly can. Opens the DRS now. Blizzard heading towards the start-finish line, sets a 1:35.1. And will he have a look down the inside coming into turn 1? Yes, he will. Dives down the inside of Mays. Mays holding it around the outside, though. Can't quite keep a hold of it. And Blizzard now moves up into 9th place. Now he has the Gort ahead of him. Battle for 5th, Kinnan and Steph. Steph ahead at the moment. Darren Sinclair setting the fastest laps. There's no point calling that out at the moment, because it's just going to keep changing every single lap as the track gets drier and drier. As we see here, Raikkonen trying to chase down Steph, both on the medium tyre. So I'm wondering if they're going to try and go to the end of the race. Blizzard here then trying to go down the inside of the Gort, heading into 7 and 8 as Mays. Oh, Mays has to brake there in the middle of the corner. I think he got away with any damage though. I think he did, rubbing off his tyres now, and the Gort rather lets Mays through then. Doesn't want to hold him up too much if they're on a different strategy. So Mays then moves up into 9th, the Gort down to 10th. Raikkonen then on the back of Steph coming out of turn 14. And I wonder now, medium tyre versus medium tyre. Is Squeezy closing in? Are they keeping up with Traw? All important questions with their battling. They are keeping up with Traw for now. But Raikkonen here maybe shifted up too early there, as Steph then, one behind. Steph keeping ahead for now. That is Pazels who's into the gravel there, as he'll rejoin the track. Raikkonen and Steph, we rejoin that battle now, as the Gort is closing in on Mays. Maybe wants that position back. Maybe he's changed his mind. Will Raikkonen still on the tail of Steph here, as we're getting into a part now, and the where the track is getting dry, but Steph runs wide here. Now Raikkonen, does he have a look up the inside of 7? No, he doesn't. Through turn 8, Steph runs wide again onto the tarmac on the outside, and Raikkonen moves up to 5th place. Steph there just trying to carry too much speed through the corner, and he's paid the price for it. He's not going to give up on the position though, as he's still trying to chase down Raikkonen. Heading towards turns 12 and 13 now. Does Steph have a look up the inside of 14? No, he doesn't, but he'll try and focus on getting a good exit heading out of turn 14. Got to keep an eye on the battle for what it looks like 8th place. From 8th down to 11th there, they all look pretty close right now. Speaking of which, we'll join that battle now. The Gort then under threat from Squeezy and Z3, you can see here. So we'll have to keep an eye on this battle as it develops. Raikkonen though, defending from Steph, and has done for now then. The Gort then chasing down his teammate, or at least trying to keep within DRS range of him. That's going to help them both. Squeezy though, looking to try and take advantage of the Gort on medium tyres. He has to get past him. Z3 on the other hand needs to get past him. It's a necessity. If he wants to try and get past, or if he wants his strategy to work I should say, he needs to get past Squeezy. Heading through the 5 and 6 left and right hander. Z3 runs too deep and loses a lot of ground there. Heading into 7 and 8 now. A lot of ground lost there, but can gain it back. Squeezy then. Is he going to try and move down the inside into turn 9? No, he doesn't. Backs out of the move and will stay behind the Gort for now. Heading towards turn 10. And then into turn 11 with yellow flags in sector 2. As looking to see who it could be. It's Darren Sinclair. Darren Sinclair, mate, did he lose the back end there? I'm not entirely sure. Z3 though has managed to find a way past Squeezy, who's into the gravel. And he's lost a bit of that front wing. Well, Squeezy will rejoin the track then. That's in between turns 12 and 13. Not far till the pit lane, but he has dropped down to 13th place. Steph though, not giving Raikkonen any rest whatsoever. Still only half a second back. Putting Raikkonen just under that little bit of pressure then. So with a sort of quiet moment, let's go through the grid order, or the standings anyway. Lambo leads the race. Spike is in second. Light E in third. Traw is in fourth. Raikkonen fifth, followed by Steph in sixth. Blizzard there, on a hard charge. He's in seventh. Maze is in eighth. The Gort is in ninth. Z3 in 10th place, Alan K 11th as he runs wide, Plaster in 12th, Pazels in 13th, Squeezy Lemon in 14th, Darren Sinclair into the pits again. He is going on to a set of medium tyres and will now try to go towards the end of the race. He's in 15th, and Key on his first race running in 16th place. Steph though not giving Raikkonen a moment's rest, still on a hard charge. Blizzard as well is trying to join in with this battle. The more these two battle, the more Blizzard gets to catch up, and the more chance he has of getting past. Steph though in the slipstream doesn't try down the inside into 15, but he takes a wider line, wider entry, which should get him a better exit. That's all in theory, of course, as now he's in the slipstream heading towards turn 1. Can he have a go down the inside of Raikkonen? Is he going to have a go? He certainly looks for it. Yes, he's going to go for it. Down the inside, which becomes the outside, of course. And they're going to run very, very close indeed. And Steph will still have the inside line as they make contact. And Steph there and Raikkonen very lucky to get away with it. But look who wins in that. Blizzard moves up into 6th place. And now he'll get to have a go on Raikkonen here. As Raikkonen gets a little bit of oversteer coming out of turn 4. We head through turn 5. Now Steph is down the inside of Blizzard here. And they're just running nose to tail. Blizzard stays ahead of Steph there. Meanwhile, further down the field, that is Key, who has retired from the session. We rejoin on this battle for 5th place right now, as Raikkonen holding his own now, trying to stay ahead of Blizzard here. Now Blizzard fancies his chances. He's quick round here, and he'll be hoping to try and make a move. Will he try down the inside into turn 14? Yes, he does. Raikkonen gets the cutback though, and who gets DRS in this situation? Blizzard though. I think Blizzard is the one who has DRS. Yes, he is. As we look now, Raikkonen trying to hold on. He'll go round the outside and again try that wider entry for a better exit. He's side by side with Blizzard, but lost the car just a little bit there. And of course Blizzard now has DRS, so they'll go towards turn 1. Blizzard with a nose ahead, but only a nose ahead right now. They head into turn 1. Blizzard gets up into 5th place, runs deep, but to try and get a better exit, does he? Well, he does. And Blizzard then moves up into 5th place. His next target then is Traw, who is 8 seconds up the road. Meanwhile, Alan Kay and Plaster. Oh, they've made contact here, and Plaster has caught the back of Alan Kay there. And heading out of turn 2. Well, Alan Kay is going to have to reverse that one back onto the track there. And, well, these things do happen. Alan Kay's just got to regain his composure and not push too hard on those tyres which have grass on them. Further up the field then, Blizzard starting to pull a gap between himself and Raikkonen. 6/10 is the gap so far, as Steph still trying to close the gap between himself and Raikkonen once again. Mays is only 3 seconds back, and with all that battling has managed to draw himself back in. Well then, let's have a look at the race leader then. Lambo in the lead of the race then, as Spike is in 2nd, Light E 3rd, Traw in 4th place, Blizzard moves up into 5th, Raikkonen 6th, Steph in 7th, Mays in 8th, that's the Gort in 9th, Z3 coming into the pits then. Now this is this must be a strategy change, or at least a strategy, as on go, what goes on now? A set of soft tyres, and I wonder if that's going to get him to the end of the race. Steph, though, is really still not giving up on this Raikkonen battle, as he's falling further and further away from that DRS range. But he will be hoping to try and get back on track. So then, at the front of the pack, Spike is trying to chase down Lambo here, as we're seeing then the gap is around 2.6 seconds for now, and both of them will have to pit again. Let's have a look at the stops then. We'll see both of them have stopped once, and it is very likely that they'll both have to stop again. It could be a super soft stint towards the end there, but they'll probably both have to pit again, as we see I think that's Paisl's coming out of the pits there. Light E though is running around in 3rd place at the moment, and that's Squeezy, who's retired from the session. He's into the gravel and has decided to retire from the session. This is Traw into the pits then, and this will be a change onto another set of soft tyres. Away he goes, and away he goes once again now. Rejoining in 9th place is that. Let's see where Plaster is. Yes, that is 9th place for Traw then. So that is a stop now to the end of the race. Lambo leads the way then. 2.8 the gap between himself and Spike then. Light E 3rd. Blizzard on a charge. He's in 4th place right now. 9.4 separates himself and Light E. It's a gap that can be closed down, and he will try it with around about 12 laps to go. Once Lambo crosses the line, it will be 12 laps of the Malaysian Grand Prix to go. Well, here's a battle and a half. This is going to be the battle between Steph and Mays for 6th place. Mays on soft tyres, Steph on mediums. And can Steph hold on to 6th place, or can Mays do something about that? Heading into turn 14 now, and they'll be able to see what will happen here. Mays in the slipstream of Steph here in that DRS zone. That's all important now. Heading towards turn 15, as we see here. Steph still holding on right now as we head onto lap 17 for both of them. The Gort in the distance there, not too far away, ready to try and pick up any pieces that are left, as Mays here looking to try and get a more aggressive line into turn 1. And looking to try and see if Steph can make a mistake here. Heading now up towards turn 4. And May sticking behind Steph for now. Now through turn 5 and then through turn 6. Very easy to run wide if you're running in the dirty air, but Mays has nailed that corner. And he's right on Steph's gearbox now, heading into 7 and 8. Heading now down towards the, well, I would say it's a hairpin, but it's not quite, of turn 9. Steph goes defensive and he'll run. Oh, that's Mays, he's off. Into the wall he goes, and I think he's got away with damage there. We'll have a look at the closer look at the front wing there. I think he has got away with damage. Very lucky Mays indeed. He just seemed to lose the back end coming out of turn 9 there and coming into turn 10 where it cambers. Very easy to spin the tyres up. But Mays then drops down to 8th. No real damage done though. But that mistake does open up the opportunity for Gort to have a look as, well, we'll see here. The Gort now try and put some pressure on Steph. Heading down the start-finish straight then. Once again, Steph under pressure from the other Mercedes. The Gort then heading into turn 1. And what will be his exit like coming out of turn 2? And if I'm not mistaken, this is the Gort's last race of the season. He goes on holiday after this race, so he won't be present for the last couple of races. I do believe that's correct. But if this is the Gort's last race of this season, he wants to go out with a bang. He'll want to try and get past Steph here, as he's had good finishes recently, that's for sure. And he'll want to make sure this is another good finish for Mercedes. Now this is an intriguing battle then. Darren Sinclair, 7 tenths away from Plaster, but Plaster's on some super soft tyres. So as much as Darren Sinclair wants to shake off Plaster and try and fight up the field, he's still in DRS range of Plaster. Meanwhile though, Lambo into the pits, as is Spike. Spike has responded, and you'll see here that well, that is perfect timing from the Force India crew there to get Lambo just about ahead of, or just behind Spike for that pit stop. Perfect time again. Light E then takes the lead of the race then. Lambo rejoins in 3rd place. Blizzard into 2nd. Spike then will rejoin ahead of Raikkonen. So he rejoins in 4th. Blizzard then takes 2nd place. But will he have to stop again? I would think he would. The Gort though, battling Steph into turn 1, and the Gort then, as his teammate Mays pits in. This is the Gort on Steph here. A battle further up the field. Blizzard here, only 5 tenths ahead of Lambo. Now, this is crucial for Lambo now. Does he take the risk and think Blizzard is going to stay out there till the end of the race and pick his moment, or does he try and get through now? I'm thinking he's siding with get through now, because he's taken an aggressive line coming into turn 9, through turn 10, and now into turn 11. We'll have to keep an eye on this battle, as well as the battle between Steph and the Gort here. Lambo here, I think he wanted to go round the outside of Blizzard coming into turn 13, but that was never going to happen. Not really an overtaking place, that one. Steph here has been passed by the Gort there. Missed that one, but the Gort runs wide. Is that an invite for Steph to try and have another go? We're riding on board now with Lambo as he looks to try and chase down Blizzard. Light E pits in from the lead of the race, puts on a set of super soft tyres, and away he goes. Where will he rejoin? Raikkonen goes into 4th place for now. The Gort then will move up. Will he? As we'll see our Ferrari emerge from the pit lane any moment now, as there it is. So where will he rejoin? He'll rejoin probably in front of his teammate as Troll into 7th place then. Steph still on the tail of the Gort here. We have got 9 laps of this race to go. We'll see Traw and Light E there battling away. As well as Lambo closing in on Blizzard. Heading towards turn 9. Blizzard goes defensive. Lambo here is going to try go around the outside. Or does he cut back? Going into turn 9. Now through turn 10. This is crucial for Blizzard now. Can he hold on for as long as he can? But the more he does this though, if he does want to stop, the more time he's going to lose. Battle for the lead of the race. Heading through turns 12 and 13. Now heading into turn 14. That's Lambo trying to take a wider line and a better exit. And that seems like it's worked this time. Look at the better traction that Lambo got coming out of turn 14. Blizzard trying to go defensive here. Lambo is just trying to get into the slipstream. And they're going to head round the final corner. Can Lambo cut his way back inside? Is that the move done? Yes, it is. Lambo takes the lead of the race. Blizzard drops to second. And Blizzard won't be happy about that at all. Is he going to try and move down the inside? As Lambo did have the DRS here. But Lambo then into the lead of the race. Blizzard drops to second. As Blizzard will try and move down the inside. I knew he wasn't going to give up on that position. Did try and move down the inside. But no dice. Light E then under pressure from Traw. As Light E has overtaken Traw now. But he just has to be careful of Traw. Always knows a way to get past. Now Light E can try and chase down Steph here. Light E on super soft tyres, Steph on medium tyres. And by the looks of it, there's only one way this battle's going to go. Coming out of turn 4. Heading towards turn 5 and 6. In the dirty air he goes. And this could be a chance then to try and get past Steph. Steph running wide, or wider. But Light E there can't quite get the move done. Not really an overtaking place. Meanwhile, Spike, this is the battle now for second place. As Blizzard here wants to try and hold on to this position. If Blizzard is going to try and go to the end of the race, he needs to try and stay ahead of Spike if he can. This is Light E then, trying to get past Steph now. Steph runs a little deep, coming into that corner. And has Light E got his way past? He'll run wide, going through turn 12 there, and then through 13. Now coming into turn 14, and yes, Light E has got the move done. Meanwhile then, Spike going into turn 15 has got the move on Blizzard. And Blizzard into the slipstream. And will he try and make a move coming into turn 1 then, or maybe even through turn 2? As we'll see, maybe the cutback. No, he hasn't got enough grip, Blizzard. But Steph here is managing to just stay ahead of Traw. Traw, maybe is he going to have a move down the inside as Steph tries a little Verstappen move. Try and move as late as possible to defend your line and don't give away where you're going to defend. And Traw here looking for a way past, but well, he's not going to find one just yet. Steph is wanting to hold on to this position for as long as he can. Traw then is going to try and move around the outside, maybe try to cut back now and get a better apex, but no dice at the moment. Mays here on another set of soft tyres. Of course, you can use the same compound to the end of the race. It's entirely up to you. With the wet start we've had, as well, I go away for a second, and Traw's made his move on Steph, which is typical of my camera work skills, that's for sure. Traw then moves up into 7th place. Mays here trying to chase down Z3 for 9th place. And heading into turn 7 and 8 there, towards the sort of hairpin of turn 9. C3 then still trying to hold on as Mays heading into turn 11. Now coming up towards turn 12 and 13. We'll see now his teammate, the Gort, under pressure from Light E. Light E on some super soft tyres with 6 laps to go, I believe that is. We'll try and move down the inside, heading into turn 1. Light E then, does he have the move? As, don't tell me that's even more rain. It is! Rain has started to fall towards the end of this race. How's your luck? Now, how long will that rain stay here? And what are the risks? Do people move on to intermediates towards the end of the race, or do you stick on some slick tyres? Because at that point, all the slick tyres are going to perform the same. Well, just when Lambo just wanted an easy race to the finish, the F1 gods have said, no, you've got to work for this. So Lambo then has got a huge decision to make. Does he stay out on slick tyres, or when the moment comes, does he stay or does he pit in for intermediate tyres? And those running on some super soft tyres have now got to push even harder, because in a couple of laps time their tyres are not going to be any use to them at all, as Light E will try and move down the inside of the Gort. Now becomes the outside going through turn 10, and has he got the move done? Yes, he has. Light E moves up into 5th place. Traw then, seeing that battle, wants to try and take advantage. Meanwhile, Mays on Z3. Mays doesn't try the move down the inside of Z3. Z3 kicks out the rear end just a little bit, and Z3 then still holding on. As you can see, already the cars are struggling for grip out here. 5 laps to go, and if you needed any more tension in this race, well, you've got it anyway. Traw then still on the back of the Gort. As you can see, Traw shifting up the gears early to try and get a bit more traction coming out of the last hairpin. Now this is Mays we're riding on board with. Down the inside of Z3. Now can he make this move stick? As Mays now down the inside coming into turn 15. Z3 is going to stay around the outside as no, Z3 decides he's going to pit in. Well, he had 9th place. Maybe he's thinking he's got nothing to lose. He'll now pit in, and this is going to be a stop for intermediates, surely. Now this is a sort of decision that can make or break a race. Z3 is hoping this one will make it, as he'll have his 5-second stop go before the team can work on the car. Now they go. On goes some intermediate tyres, and away he goes. Now with 5 laps to go, that's plenty of time here for the intermediates to start working and be the superior tyre. As you can see here, drivers are starting to struggle. But, well, Z3 here is going to take the major risk. He's dropped to 11th place, but he did have 9th. So it's one of those situations where you can think, yes, I will take the risk. Well, Darren Sinclair here in 13th place. This could be a lifeline for him. It didn't have a great pace in the wet, though. But, well, this has thrown a spanner into the works. Well, Z3 here hasn't got the grip at the moment. And he did think... You could see it there. As you can see, yeah, you can see how much the car just skates over. At the moment, the tyres are just overheating. Not time for them yet. 4 laps to go then. Lambo leads the way from Spike, and it's just all about keeping the car on the track. Raikkonen then into the pits he comes, and you can see now Traw in as well, reacting to Raikkonen. On goes some intermediate tyres for Raikkonen. Away he goes. And again, these cars towards the back end of the points are thinking, why not? Let's just try it. So Raikkonen then leaving the pit lane. Now where does he rejoin? He should rejoin ahead of Mays here, as he'll rejoin the track. Yep, there's Mays, and Raikkonen rejoins ahead of him. So we'll see now what the track conditions turn into. As you can see, the rain is getting heavier. So it could be ready for intermediate conditions rather soon. You can see though Mays has superior grip here coming through turn 3. Heading into turn 4, you can see here Mays going up the inside right about now. You can see the slick tyres have the edge. But well, they have the edge towards the end of the race. You can see there Mays now starting to pull away from Raikkonen. And yep, that proves it then. The slick tyres do have the edge for now, but the rain is still falling, so anything can happen. Lambo then heading around the hairpin. Once again, Spike in 2nd, Blizzard in 3rd. At the moment, this has worked perfectly into his hands. If there is an intermediate stop then, he'll obviously try and jump in, because he'll have 3rd place. Light E 4th. What will he decide to do? His teammate decided to go in on some intermediate tyres, but he stays out. The Gort though has decided now's the time. With 3 laps to go, it's time for intermediates. So Mercedes then, the first pit stall in the garage, as you can see there. Away he goes, and where will he rejoin? Steph comes into the pits as well, presumably to put on a set of intermediate tyres. as Mays moves up. Raikkonen moves up as well. We'll have to wait and see. Raikkonen then the leading intermediate runner. But you can see here, Lambo is pulling a huge gap on Spike at the moment. He's just got to keep the car on the track. So Darren Sinclair then gets past Alan Kay, moves up into 10th place. Now, Alan Kay wanted to come into the pits there, and well, they both now have caused each other a lot of pain there. Well, I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but DRS has been disabled. So it is the crossover point. Now's the time for intermediate tyres. Now, what do the leaders do? Do they stay out on their slick tyres, or do they pit in for intermediates? Well, that's Lambo staying out. Does Spike do the same? No, Spike pits in. Spike then, with 2 laps to go, will pit in from 2nd place. What will Blizzard do? Blizzard also pits in. This could prove crucial towards the end of the race. Light E going off the track, proving that he needs those intermediate tyres now, as there's no grip out there anymore. Now you can see Raikkonen getting that grip he needs. He's catching Mays at a rate of knots now, as we head through towards now turn 14. Spike then on go a set of intermediate tyres with 2 laps to go here. What's the gap between himself and Lambo? Because with Lambo now, he's got to commit now. He's got to go to the end of the race. He can't pit in on the penultimate lap. He'll lose too much time. 28.4 seconds is the gap. And you'll see that come crashing down. Light E is also deciding to go to the end of the race on his slick tyres. Mays, though, decides he's had enough of these slick tyres. He'll come in for some intermediate tyres. Darren Sinclair here. Well, the mix-up with the Toro Rossos has cost Darren Sinclair a pit stop there, maybe to go on some intermediate tyres, but in any case, he might try and go to the end on those medium tyres. Lambo, though, well, 26.7 the gap right now. It is coming down, but not as quickly as Spike would like. Lambo feeling that there is still some pace out there. 26.2, 26.1, you can see the gap come down, but at the moment, Spike has got to lap an incredible lap time in these treacherous conditions to have a chance here. Blizzard now moving up to P3. Light E losing the back end. Can he keep the car in check? Yes, he can. And, well, Pacels unlaps himself from Light E there. Light E in 4th then. Lambo then comes across the line to start the final lap of this Malaysian Grand Prix. He's 23.6 seconds ahead of Spike on some super soft tyres. Can he make it to the end? This is going to be one of the most tense laps he's ever had to have. But can he hold his nerve out there? And on a wet track, can he get to the end on slick tyres? Spike will be pushing as hard as he possibly can. 22.1 the gap between him and Lambo. Z3 then getting past Darren Sinclair. Up into 10th place he goes. Light E then off the track, and he's decided on the last lap to change onto the intermediate tyres. So Lambo then, you can see Pacels there. Pacels is a lapped car. He'll have an opportunity now to unlap himself and have an extra lap under his belt. And if Lambo, oh, it's tense now. Well, Pacels goes down the inside there. He's unlapped himself. Lambo just about holding on. And we've got a load of cars there. 17 seconds the gap. Lambo is holding on for dear life. Little bit of a loss of back end, but fantastic car control from Lambo right now. Well, he was denied a race win at Italy by around about 0.04 of a second. He's only got another sector to go before he can... This is so tense. I am lost for words right now. At a changeover point. It should have been the changeover point. He now only has to negotiate one more corner. 11.3. 10.6 the gap now. Spike is throwing everything at Lambo here. And they're now on the same piece of track. Incredible stuff. But Lambo here, rounding the final corner. 8.7 the gap right now. As he'll round the final corner, Lambo on track, wins here in Malaysia. What a race and what a win for Lambo.
Spike there will come across the line to take second place. A valiant effort there towards the end. Knew he had to throw everything at it, but on those intermediate tyres, definitely had the pace there. Spike finishes in second. Blizzard, though, takes third place. A fantastic recovery drive from Blizzard there. Raikkonen then rounding that final hairpin. Towards the line he goes. Raikkonen is going to take fourth place here as he crashes over the line he goes. Fourth place for Raikkonen, which is taken away by the Gort through penalties. The Gort finishes in fourth, Raikkonen fifth. Steph heads towards the line now. He'll finish in sixth place. Troll will cross the line in seventh. Jumps Steph through penalties. Light E then, who was going to try and go to the end of the race on slick tyres, decides to take 8th place with the intermediates. Mays will come across the line to take 9th. Z3, heading down the back straight now, is going to try and take the final points of the session. Of the race, I should say. I should stop saying session because it's not qualifying, it's the actual race. Z3 then, heading towards the line now. He's going to take the final point here in Malaysia. Well, it's been a better day for Darren Sinclair. He'll just want to put this behind him now. But he's going to come home in 11th place. Rounding that final corner now. Just trying to get some wheel spin there. Heads into the wall and retires from the session. So he'll claim 12th place then. But your winner today, through exceptional driving, wet track, slick tyres, Lambo takes the win. It must have been a tense couple of laps and a huge relief as Lambo crosses the line there. He will take his first race win of the season, I should say, and it's thoroughly deserved. So then, Lambo takes the race win for the official, unofficial results. Spike finishes in second, Blizzard third. I believe that was the Gort in fourth. Raikkonen fifth. Troy is in sixth. Steph in seventh. Lighty eighth. Mays is ninth. Z3 10th. Alan K 11th. Darren Sinclair 12th. And then a whole host of cars who were replaced by actual drivers. Squeezy there does finish in 15th place. Well, it's been a hectic race. 2 periods of rain, one at the start and one at the end, just for good measure. And well, if you'd have told me that Lambo would be winning the race on slick tyres on a wet track, I'd have called you mad. But that's the beauty of league racing. Well, it has been a great race here, and the drivers will be looking to the next race, which is in Japan. So I do hope you can join us for them. Until Suzuka, though, that's been Malaysia. I've been Kieran McGinley. You've been watching. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.